This is my family. One thing my family really enjoys doing together is traveling. We really like traveling to tropical places. We have been to many beaches, but none compare to the beaches of Hawaii. Today's Pecha Kucha presentation is going to take us across the main island of Hawaii. And on this trip, we actually get to have my uncle's family join in on the fun too. As we landed in Hawaii, I knew we were in a very different place. I remember thinking the entire time, this is the United States? It's so different. The first thing that was very different is that we landed our plane outside on a runway surrounded by palm trees. We were then greeted by very friendly locals with an aloha and a lei made of fresh, beautiful flowers. On this slide, we have a map of the 8 islands of Hawaii. Hawaii is located in the Pacific Ocean. The island that our family stayed on was the main island of Hawaii. Hawaii is often referred to as the Big Island. Hawaii is actually an island that is made up of volcanoes, which we'll get to explore a little more later. The first thing we had to do was get in our car and drive to the condo where we were staying in. Around the airport was very nice and clean and beautiful area, but as we continued to drive along the island, we started seeing areas that looked like this. We had no idea what it was. Finally, we figured it out. It was dried lava. How cool! At this point in our trip, we didn't know a whole lot about the island. Landing on the island and driving to our condo had already been an interesting learning experience. But one of the most interesting things that we learned in the first few hours of being in Hawaii was that there's a numerous amount of cats. A local later told us that all these cats were there and brought to the island to kill rodents, and now they're just wild and running free. The most exciting adventures we went on was a helicopter ride over the island. I was so nervous. As we stepped into the helicopter, I noticed the bottom was clear and made out of glass. I wasn't sure if I was excited about this or if I was nervous about being able to see all the things under me. We put our headsets on so that we could talk to each other, and then we took off. We're flying over one of Hawaii's volcanoes. As you can see in the red parts, it is actually erupting. This was so neat to see in person. When someone says a volcano is active, I automatically think a volcano pouring out hot lava, but that is not the case. The island of Hawaii is made up of 5 volcanoes. 3 of them are still active. One of the volcanoes that is still active is Hualai, another one Mauna Loa, and another Kilauea. We were on Kilauea. Koala is the oldest volcano on the island, and it last erupted about 60,000 years ago, so this one is considered extinct. Mauna Kea last erupted 3,600 years ago, and this is dormant. Pictured here is the coastline of Hawaii. This was really neat to fly over the ocean. As we looked down, we could see the water. It was beautiful and clear blue. Our guide told us if there were larger animals under us, that we would be able to see those also. After we flew over the volcano in the water for a while, we entered this canyon. And in this canyon, there was about 10 different waterfalls coming down the sides just like this one. This was so neat. Everything was so green and beautiful, and it actually goes really far down and you can't tell in the picture. After we went to the canyon, we then went and landed our helicopter. The next exciting part of our trip was that we got to go to a luau. A luau is a Hawaiian tradition accompanied by food and entertainment. The traditional luau was eaten on the floor over luhala, leaves of the hala tree, were weaved together, and they made mats. Ours was a little different, and we had tables along the beach facing the stage. Before the dancing and the entertainment began, they walked us down the beach to see what we were having for dinner. All these men started digging and telling us that in traditional luau's, the pork is cooked in the traditional Hawaiian imu or in an underground oven. This was crazy to see. They just showed us, but we actually ate pork that they already made. After we got our bellies full, the entertainment started. There were men and women in traditional luau clothes, and they did the hula dance along with many other dances. Some of the men danced with fire, and it was very entertaining until they pulled me up on stage and made me hula dance in front of everyone. I had to quickly get over my fear of dancing in public. Another unique thing that we got to experience at the luau is the conch shell. The conch shell has been used in Hawaiian celebrations for many years, and it is used to let everyone know that a ceremony or a celebration has just begun. They also can be heard 2 miles away. Often the conch shell is at a wedding ceremony. After a few days of relaxing from all the excitement, we thought we would take a casual stroll to Hawaii's famous black sand beach. Little did we know that was about a 30-minute hike on a muddy, slippery trail to get there. But once we got there, it was well worth it. It was beautiful. Beaches were created by lava flowing into the ocean. Then it explodes as it reaches the ocean and it cools. How cool is that? While we were there, we saw a ton of wildlife and also found tons of coconuts that had fallen to the ground. Here in this picture is my cousin posing with one of the biggest coconuts we found that was cracked. Something also interesting about Hawaii is that they don't really have seasons. Here's a picture of a different trip that we took to Hawaii over Christmas time. See, no snow. All year round, it's a similar temperature. Sometimes it rains more during certain parts of the year, but for the most part, it's about the same weather and temperature. On one of the days, we also got to take out a boat. My brother and dad and uncle went deep sea fishing, but we just hung out. We went further into the ocean, and in this picture, you can see in the distance a whale's tail out of the water. The guide shared with us about the whales and their migration route. Another wonderful thing about Hawaii is the gorgeous sunsets every night. We got to enjoy the sunsets while trying different seafoods, walking on the sandy beaches. Hawaii is a beautiful and interesting place to visit. The history behind it is so fun and exciting to me and my family. Most families just like to sit around and relax. We like to go on tons of adventures together. The most meaningful part of this trip wasn't learning all these things and visiting all these unique places, but it was getting to have these experiments with my family. My family isn't a relaxing type. We're very go, go, go. We got to do all these fun things together and learn as we were doing it. How awesome is that my family and me got to experience this?